The air in Addo Elephant National Park hung heavy with dust. The scorching South African sun burned high in the sky, casting long shadows over the endless plains. It was a day like any other for the park rangers: watch, patrol, protect. Then, a sound split the air. A deafening, heart-stopping roar. It was a sound that ripped through the savanna, rattling the trees, sending birds bursting from the canopy in frightened flocks. The ground trembled beneath their boots as the park rangers jolted to attention. Something was terribly wrong. Engines roared to life. The dust-choked road blurred past as they sped toward the source of the commotion, weaving through dry brush and golden grasslands. As they approached the massive waterhole, their hearts clenched at the scene before them. A baby elephant, no older than a few months, was trapped in the deep, churning mud. It kicked, struggled, and flailed, but the more it fought, the deeper it sank. A ring of massive, anxious elephants surrounded the pit, stomping, trumpeting, their eyes wild with panic. The mother, her enormous frame shaking with distress, stretched out her trunk, desperately trying to grasp her drowning calf, but it was too deep. The slick, suffocating mud refused to let go. Another elephant, likely an older sibling, used its tusks, trying to dig through the mud, sending dark clumps flying into the air. Nothing worked. And the baby was growing weaker by the second. The rangers exchanged tense glances. They knew what had to be done. But there was one massive obstacle standing in their way. The herd. Elephants were fiercely protective of their young. If they perceived the rangers as a threat, they would charge. One wrong move, and they would be flattened beneath thousands of pounds of fury. A deep voice broke the silence. We need to separate them. The plan was risky, terrifyingly risky. Use the patrol vehicles to push the elephants back, create space, then rescue the calf before it's too late. No one spoke. They all knew the danger. Then, the engines growled to life. The first vehicle lurched forward, tires grinding against the dirt as it slowly approached the herd. A deep, thunderous growl erupted from the massive bull elephant at the edge of the circle. It raised its trunk high, its eyes burning with rage. Then, it charged. Bam! The impact rocked the vehicle, metal groaning under the bull's sheer power. The rangers inside gritted their teeth, knuckles white against the steering wheel. The bull stepped back, tossing its massive head. The rangers had one shot. The lead driver revved the engine hard, sending a wave of noise crashing through the air. For a moment, the bull hesitated. Then, the mother elephant turned. And she looked directly at them. Her deep, ancient eyes held something unexpected, understanding. She knew. They weren't here to harm her baby. They were trying to save it. Slowly, she stepped back. The rest of the herd followed. This was their only chance. Two rangers leaped into action. They waded into the mud, their boots sinking instantly. The baby was barely moving now, its eyes were half-lidded, its small body shivering from exhaustion. We're losing him. One ranger wrapped his arms around the calf's slippery torso. The other gripped its tiny trunk, feeling its weak breath against his fingers. But the mud refused to let go. They pulled, nothing. They heaved, the calf sank deeper. The weight of the mud was like chains, dragging it closer to death. The rangers locked eyes. One last try. With every ounce of strength left in their bodies, they summoned everything they had. And pulled. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the calf lurched free. With one final desperate yank, they hauled the baby onto solid ground. It collapsed, heaving for breath, covered in mud but alive. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a sound like rolling thunder filled the air. The herd trumpeted in unison. Not in anger. Not in fear. But in gratitude. The baby elephant wobbled to its feet, blinking at the rangers. And then, it took a step forward. The world stood still as it slowly extended its tiny trunk and touched the ranger's hand. A gesture so small, yet so profound. A gesture of understanding. A gesture of thanks. Then, with a flick of its ears, it turned and ran to its mother. The herd surrounded it, trunks reaching out, touching, checking, reassuring. Before they disappeared into the wild, the mother turned back one last time. She lifted her trunk into the sky. A silent salute. A thank you from the giants of the wild. At Addo Elephant National Park, humans and nature are not enemies. They are guardians of each other. One side armed with wisdom passed down through generations. The other armed with compassion and duty. On that day, a baby elephant was given a second chance at life. And on that day, the giants of the wild acknowledged their protectors. Because in the heart of the wilderness, one truth remains. Survival is not just about strength. It's about trust. And it's about understanding. The story of rescuing the baby elephant is not just an intense encounter between humans and nature, it also carries profound lessons about love, courage, and unity. First, family bonds are sacred, not only in human society but also in the animal world. The adult elephants did everything they could to save their young, reminding us of the power of kinship and sacrifice. Moreover, the story highlights human responsibility toward nature. The park rangers risked their safety to save a helpless life, proving that when humans and nature work together, miracles can happen. This inspires us to be more conscious of our actions, protect the environment, and help vulnerable creatures. Finally, the most important lesson is gratitude. The moment the elephants turned back to thank the rangers shows that every living being has its own way of expressing appreciation. In life, even the smallest act of kindness can create deep and meaningful connections.